Shalom, today is January 31st, and we've been in war for 117 days with Hamas. Let's have an inside look into what Israelis are reading today in Hebrew. Hamichsholim, the obstacles on the way to a deal. Which deal? The hostage exchange deal with Hamas. We'll take a look into the details in just a moment. Down here, there's an image or footage from a dangerous, high-risk operation that happened at 5:30 in the morning in Jenin. It is a refugee city in Israel. More details coming soon in here. So the headline reads, Mechakim leHamas, waiting for Hamas. There is an agreement, there is a deal on the table. Qatar and Egypt say there is a deal. Israel is ready for the deal, but Hamas is holding everybody, and everyone is waiting for Hamas's answer. The detail entails ceasefire, but Hamas wants a total stop of the war. That's not temporary. There is a dispute in the Israeli government, and Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu, is torn. The left want the deal, and the far right do not want the deal in the name of the security of Israel. Here, Ben Gvir is on the right, Lapid is on the left, and Benjamin Netanyahu, as it reads, is in between. But everyone is actually waiting for Hamas to see what Hamas will say. Here on the left, there is a columnist that's sharing his opinion about the questions that rise from this agreement with Hamas. But his opinion, Nadav Eyal's opinion, is that it is good for Israel, and this will actually bring more peace also in the north, because Hezbollah will put down their arms if the war in Gaza stops, and then Israeli citizens can go back to their homes in the north. They're still evacuated from up there. So we'll wait and see, but Hamas has the upper hand here. We're waiting for them. Next is the high-risk operation by special forces of Israel up in Jenin, which is a refugee town in Israel. And it reads, the terrorists were assassinated within 10 minutes. Let's look at what happened. Number one is the place. It's a small, fairly new hospital in Jenin. Second is the time, 5:30 in the morning. Special forces dressed up as doctors, Rofim, Achim, which is nurses, and other personnel, they enter the hospital. 3, they're exposed. The special force is drawing their guns and shooting. Right here at 4, they're shooting the 3 terrorists on the 3rd floor. This is a group of terrorists that thought that the place was safe, a hospital. 5th, mission complete. We see the 3 corpses in the hospital refrigerators. And it reads, in an operation that was planned just a few hours beforehand and that was supervised personally by the head of the Shabak, special forces were dressed up as patients and as medical personnel and entered the Jenin hospital. 3 of the terrorists were hiding in it, and they thought that they were safe and protected, but they did not have a chance. Within less than 10 minutes, the force was already outside of the hospital after it assassinated the 3 that were planning an imminent terror attack in Israel. So here's a security source that says, from wherever terror will come out, if it's a hospital, if it's a school or a cemetery, our forces will come to it and they will assassinate, they will demolish the threat. So this is one out of many operations that Israel has been doing in Judea and Samaria, even way before the war. As Judea and Samaria and Jenin is within that territory, can heat up very, very quickly as it is controlled by Palestinians. Here it says they got what they deserved. Here is Muhammad Jalamna, the head of the planning of the terror attack, and the 2 brothers that were helping him out. Here on the left, the columnist writes that you can imagine the heartbeat and the drama until the second that the Israeli forces come or shoot the terrorists. It says the arrival of the forces, the entrance, walking down the hallways of the hospital until the specific room on the 3rd floor where the terrorists were. All of this had to be done very sleekly. Hitamut mukhletet. I don't know exactly how to translate this into English, but like very quietly, without raising any suspicion from the surrounding. He also writes that it's hard to say that someone in the hospital was surprised because they knew the terrorists were using their hospital, or that specific room, as a war room and a place to plan terror attacks. So not anymore, not even a hospital is safe for terrorists, and that's a good thing. Next, this article is about the masses of reservists that are being released right now from the service in Gaza temporarily. and they're going back to school. They're going back to their university studies. And it reads, this is a hard landing. Hama'avar hamurkav, the complex transition of the fighters, misdeh hakrav, from the war field to the school benches, to the academy. And here's a professor saying that we've received a large mass of miluimnikim, of reservists, with mental and cognitive symptoms, such as difficulty in memory, in attention, in concentration, and there's even depression. Yeshanu etgar gadol b'miuchad. We have a great challenge, says Professor Dani Choresh, who is the head of the trauma research in Bar Ilan. He says we need to prevent the dropout in the first levels of the degree. You can imagine the rough transition from a war zone into a sterile environment like a university. I'm sure some of them are waking up with nightmares as the alertness was so high and is still high in Gaza, whoever is serving there. And for the last article for today, this is about the elections for municipalities that were supposed to take place all across Israel on the 31st of October, but because so many candidates were in reserve duty, in active service in Gaza or in the north, they decided on postponing the elections. But now, again, the elections are just 1 month ahead, and still over 500 candidates are still serving in Gaza or in the north in active service. And here we see examples of them. Here we see Yaron Rosenthal, who is running for the municipality of Gush Etzion. Aviv Yitzchak is running for the head of Tiberias, and Uri Kellner for the Golan Heights. So in some ways, they're in a disadvantage as their competitors have been running their campaigns for 3.5 months already while they're in war. But they seem calm, and they're saying that they've been doing the right thing, fighting in Gaza or in the north, and they trust the residents to make the right choice, they say. One of them says, every mission has its own time. That's so true. So these are the stories for today. For more updates and stories, go to allisrael.com. Follow us on our social media. If you like this video, please like it. This is Rotem Magen for All Israel News.